This short video will show you how you can take a marginal piece of clip art raster image and using Corel Photo Paint and Corel Draw, how you can optimize that image and convert it to vector fairly easy and get good quality artwork out of it. Here is a sample of something that I got off the web, and there is a black and white image of a koi fish, and I'd like to try to vectorize that. But the image that I've got is rather low resolution, and if you look, you can see it looks pretty ragged, and trying to vectorize this is going to produce a marginal or poor piece of vector artwork. And I'll just show you how you can take Corel Photo Paint in a new plugin that they have in Corel X5 and optimize this graphic and come up with a very decent piece of clip art very quickly with no manual editing. The first thing we'll do is we'll start Corel Photo Paint. And we'll open up a piece of artwork that we want to convert. Next thing I'm going to do is I want to crop just the area that I want to do the vectorization of. I want to keep just as little of the artwork as possible, leaving just a very little white around it. No large areas of white that don't need to be processed for vectorization. And we now have the image that we want to vectorize and nothing else. The next thing I'll do is I will save this. I'm going to call that fish before. So this will be before the editing. Now that I have that done, I want to open up a plugin that Corel X5 has. We'll go into File, File Format Plugins, Export, and PhotoZoom Pro. PhotoZoom Pro is a Fractal technology plugin that will increase the resolution for me and basically fill in pixels where none were, interpolating where they should go so that we don't get large stair steps. I look at the image size or the print size, and you'll notice right now it's 3.5 by 3.6. I want to take the largest dimension and change that to 4.5 inches, and the resolution dots per inch I'm going to change from 72 to 500. I found these numbers to be workable. And if you'll notice now, we've got something that's, even though we've increased the resolution, the lines are still very nice and smooth. I'm going to save this, and we'll call that Fish After. Now that's saved. Now that I've saved the copy in PhotoZoom Pro, I will close PhotoZoom Pro, and we will open up that copy, Fish After, in Photo Paint. And the next thing we will do is convert this to a black and white image. If you'll notice, we have grayscale in here that starts getting gray in some of the close areas, and you can see how this starts to fade out. What we'll do is we'll convert this to black and white, and it'll give us a good crisp line to do a vectorization with. So the first thing I'll do is go to Image, Convert to Black and White, and again it defaults to halftone. This time I want to take and change it to line art. And if you can look here, you can see where there's some gray areas here. This line is getting gray and gray here. Now I take the threshold. By sliding the threshold back and forth, I can change what level gray turns to black and what level gray stays white. So I can adjust this and get just how I want this to look, and make sure that you can notice here this is still getting a good clean opening in there. It's not closing up. If I go too far, it closes up, and I don't want to lose that detail. So I want to make sure I keep that detail and adjust it so that I get good lines for each of these fin veins. We can check this up here. That looks good. We'll say OK. we now have a black and white image, and I'm going to save that. Now let's view these side by side, and you can see just exactly the difference of what this has done. You can see the difference, how that's improved the quality of that piece of artwork very easily, very quickly, very simply, with very little manual effort. Now that we've improved the quality of the artwork, we can now do an automated trace using Corel Draw, and we'll get a lot better quality artwork out of the new copy than we would have off the original. So let's close PhotoPaint, and we'll start Corel Draw. I'm going to create a blank document, and I'm going to import the fish before, and I will import the fish after, and we can vectorize both of these and show you just exactly how the difference of editing that we've done makes. Clicking the after, trace, bitmap, outline, trace, and I'm going to do line artwork. If you'll notice, the artwork is fairly large size resolution wise, and wants to know, do I want to reduce the bitmap for performance or keep it the original size, and it may take a little bit longer. If possible, let's keep it the original size. I've found when I use PhotoZoom Pro, if I keep it the largest dimension, height or width, to 4.5 inches, and with a 500 dot per inch resolution, I can get this option. If it's over that resolution, it'll tell me that the artwork is too large and it has to reduce it. If possible, I want to keep it to the original size, and we'll let this trace. The next thing I want to do is I want to click on this option that says remove color from the entire image. I have the option that says remove the background color, and it automatically selected white because the background was white. There was no black touching the border, so it determined that was the background color. And if I say remove from the entire image, it takes all the white out, and I'm left now with just the lines, which is just what I would need if I want to expose a photo screen or if I want to cut the plotter. It'll work either way. Next thing I would like to do is I want to look and make sure that I'm not losing any detail, and it depends on your original artwork as to what level of detail you want. If you notice, sometimes the center holes of one of these bubbles might be missing, or you might be missing a little dot. You can take the detail slider and slide it over to the right and make it more detailed. It'll vectorize smaller parts that way. Then I can slide the smoothing bar up a little bit, and that will smooth out the edges a little bit, lines, and make less nodes. I'll click OK and save that. I now have a vector image. Let's do the same thing for the original. Trace the bitmap. And we'll smooth that out a little bit. Same thing. And we'll do OK. If we look at this, it looks very nice. That could easily be cut with a plotter, or it could be exposed with a photo screen very easily, with not a problem at all. If we look at this copy from the original artwork, that's a mess. So you can see, with very, very little effort and some of the tools provided in Corel PhotoPaint and Corel Draw, you can create a a piece of artwork from marginal artwork that may not be very good to start out with, and you can create a nice piece of artwork to sand carve. If you have any questions on any of this, you can please let me know. Thank you.